Ryan, how was your weekend so far?
Pretty good. I've
Pretty
been
good.
working a lot, so I've been since I do overnights, working more just like completely shoots me on my days off. So, been really tired lately.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that. We had a bar catch on fire
Oh,
Thursday night. Yeah, so that ate up a lot of time. It's never fun when you got to go embargo $20,000 worth of liquor and tell people that they can't steal it
yeah.
because it's been
Look,
compromised in a fire, and they're like, no, it's perfectly fine. I'm like, no, it's not. You're gonna get sick and die if you drink that tequila.
I remember I haven't had to deal with this in a while, but when I used to work at the movie theater, we would have boil notices for the water, and we would have to tell people it's like, hey, we can't serve you fountain drinks or water from the tap or whatever because there's the boil notice. And these people still wanted, they would fight you every step of the way,
Oh yeah,
even though they should know because they live, well, most of them I guess live in Florida, and they should know it's bad for you, but
yeah.
they wanted to fight it all the time.
If you can't see it, it can't hurt you. That's the that's the
Yeah, it's their
philosophy.
mindset usually.
Yeah. So you still finishing up Elden Ring?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
at about 90 hours,
Yeah. I
and I think I'm at the I think I'm on the last stretch story wise, like main story wise, but I have a lot more to do.
yeah. I finished up Horizon, and I'm actually trying to sit down and 100% platinum the game. I think I only have about mm, 3, 4 trophies left, and it's
Nice.
it's not that they're hard trophies to get. It's just time. That's the
Uh, yeah, I think that's Elden Rings are pretty much just time consuming more than difficult.
yeah, yeah.
But then
Um,
again, I haven't really looked through them, so I could be wrong about that. I
yeah.
don't have many platinums though. I only have a handful of them, but I definitely have platinums for all the Uncharted games and like maybe a couple other ones.
Yeah, I've never been a trophy hunter on games. The main reason why I want to do Horizon is just because I really do like the game, and I'm gonna go back and replay through the first one. My wife's actually played through the first one because she never finished it, but it's been so long that she's I'm gonna call it Gandalfing it. I have no memory of this place. Uh, so she's refinishing it, and it's fun to watch her because she's not a hardcore gamer, and
uh,
she gets so mad because, like, in the beginning stages on normal difficulty on Horizon, if you're not prepared and you get jumped by more than one robot, it they will wreck you in a heartbeat.
I remember that. I didn't finish the game, but I do remember one thing I liked about it was you kind of couldn't let your guard down,
Yeah,
which was nice.
and I don't. Uh, let's see. I'm gonna try to preface this with I didn't use stealth in a lot of games, and I don't like stealth. Like, I don't like the Metal Gear Solid games
Uh huh.
and Tenchu Stealth Assassins. I
Yeah.
didn't care too much for it. I'm more of a Rambo it, run in there, kill everything. Borderlands, let's put it that way. But Ghost of Tsushima
Uh huh.
and Horizon have really made me think, maybe stealth is the good approach.
I I like I like going in guns blazing, and I like stealth.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I kind of teeter on both of them, I guess.
yeah,
But I like having the option to do both
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Uh,
because if I don't have that option, I will restart a level over and over and over until I get it right. Like Metal Gear Solid, like you can still you go shooting or whatever after you get caught. Like if I was playing it, I would just restart the whole level
yeah,
just so I don't get caught.
yeah, absolutely. So, uh, if you guys may notice, this is a video episode of playing with myself. This is one of our special episodes that we're gonna call it Scrambled Cable. And Scrambled Cable came from, it's an ode to back in the day whenever you had cable, but they would broadcast channels that you weren't supposed to watch, but they were all scrambled up. And it's just it stuff like these episodes are going to harken back to our youth, our childhood, and beyond. Things that happened way before, and this is basically just interesting shit that's not related to a video game. I guess that's the best way to put it. These
Yeah, throw a curveball every now and
yeah, yeah, these are going to be kind of the we're going to call them the spin-off of the main episodes of the podcast. Today's episode, you can find a link to it. I'll have it up on Facebook. It'll be posted on YouTube. We'll see how that goes. But we're actually going to watch YouTube videos of what we're talking about, because not only are they audio transmissions, but some of them have video transmissions, and it's just a lot easier to do it that way. So,
yeah, I don't think this would work without the visual aspect of it.
yeah, but you're still going to be able to listen to this whenever I post it, because I still have to post. As of this moment, I haven't posted the other two. I was waiting until we got a couple episodes ahead of ourselves, so we had a bit of a buffer. But I don't think that this type of episode would work without being able to visually see it. So your choice. If you want to watch it, you can go watch it. If you want to just listen to it, you can. So we're going to post it in both media formats. So let me pull up our Google Doc here so I can see what the hell we're doing. All right, and I'm gonna start with, I wrote this episode, started it about a year ago. Okay, so some of it has to do with the Russian spy radio stations and stuff, because Soviet era technology has always interested me. I'm going to just flat out say that I am not pro-Russia in all the events that are happening today. What's going on in Ukraine is an absolute atrocity. And
yeah, I guess this is good timing with this.
Yeah,
with this
I know.
episode.
It's very... I don't want to use the term serendipitous, but it's... I'm just waiting for a pizza parlor simulator game to come out, and then I just need to start playing the lottery. Because I've had a lot of instances where I'm going to stream this game, and then it comes out with a remake. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yep.
So
Been there myself.
yeah. All right. And Ryan, I can't help but notice in your background, I know we can't see it on OBS, but you got an MK2 arcade machine. I have that exact same arcade machine in my garage.
Man, I'm back and forth on wanting to mod it, but it seems like such an undertaking.
Yeah.
Like, I thought these things would be just swap the buttons out. Nope, not at all. It's like a whole new rigging, and you got to get a new screen for it and everything.
Yep.
But so far it just has the stock games, but I am thinking about modding it though.
That's what I bought mine specifically for, was to do that. And if you guys are seeing me look off to the left, it's because I have a whole array of monitors because of the way I have to set everything up with OBS. So I'm not ignoring you.
I'm
shy,
just talking
to Ryan over here on the side. But I had bought, it was actually a Golden T99 conversion, and it was a Mortal Kombat 2. I bought it for $50 off of a guy on Facebook. So I'm
okay.
Hey, I'm not going to complain about that, because my whole want was to turn one into a multicade, but I didn't want one that was in great shape, because I was going to end up and strip it. And then I got to looking at it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a Mortal Kombat 2 machine.
I actually got that as a gift from a few friends who chipped in for it. So like, if I modded it, even though it would be kind of expensive, it seems like it's on the expensive side to mod them. It's not like I bought the machine and then added the mods and spent more money. So I guess it could be worse.
Right. So, all right. So with that interlude out of the way, once again, I'm gonna say that this podcast is like a squirrel with ADD. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So this episode is network and radio transmission interruptions. So stuff like this has always interested me even as a child, because my neighbor was an old truck driver, and I'm talking, he was a trucker in the 70s. So He's a great guy. He wasn't probably one of the cocaine cowboys. At least I hope not. He was just a cowboy. But when he retired, he still loved to talk to other truckers on his CB radio.
Yep. My dad did the same thing. He threw out his back and his knees and he couldn't drive anymore, but he had to have that CB radio to still be a part of the world.
Yeah.
The trucking world.
Yeah. And Bob would crank the power up on his CB radio that it would actually come through our old tube television during the middle of watching TV. And it, when I was a little kid, it would freak me the hell out. And one thing you'll notice through this podcast is I have some of the weirdest phobias and fears. Not like Billy Bob Thornton being scared of antique furniture, but
I know a guy who's afraid of owls.
we'll get on. We'll get to that later. But it would always come through like late at night or early in the morning when I was watching Saturday morning cartoons, and it would freak me out until I figured out exactly what it was, because it was just enough sound to where you couldn't hear what it is, but it was stuff like that.
Do you think he kind of knew what he was doing? Like, do you think he knew?
I'm sure he did. But he wanted to boost
If
up.
I knew I was doing that and there were kids next door I could scare the crap out of, I would totally do it.
And then back in the mid-90s, I had a 50cc Yamaha Raz motor scooter, and I traded a bike for a pack of cigarettes, and then traded the pack of cigarettes for a carton of cheaper cigarettes, and then
when gas was 10 cents.
Yeah, traded the carton of cigarettes for a CB radio, and hooked that CB radio up to my scooter, and I would talk to the truckers and stuff as they were driving through town. And so I saw a big scooter with an antenna on it.
That'd be pretty funny to see.
Yeah, so radio transmissions and stuff like that have always, world radio and all that has always been something to interest me. But we're going to start off talking about, and this is where the whole Russian thing comes in, the Buzzer. Now, the Buzzer is a radio station called UVB 76, and it has been broadcasting roughly since the Cold War. Nobody really knows where it's from, but everybody...
I still can't get over that. That's still broadcasting.
Yeah, and it's coming from Russia, and it's a shortwave radio station. So if you don't know how shortwave radios work, we'll give you a quick rundown. They're short waves, and they can travel thousands upon thousands of miles. So it broadcasts at 4,625 kilohertz, and it's a short buzzing tone that's been repeating at a rate of 25 tones per minute, 24 hours a day since the 70s. Now, every now and then, the buzzing will stop, a voice comes over, reads random letters and numbers in Russian. And it's theorized that it's a kind of like a dead hand trigger. So if you've watched The Walking Dead, whenever the guy has the grenade in his hand, and then they kill him, and then he drops the grenade, that's a dead hand trigger. So
I did not know that.
If the station ever stops, then something has happened, and people think that maybe the station got blown up, and then that's a sign to retaliate. So we're going to take a listen to the UVB 76. It's about a minute and 53 seconds from February 5th of 2020. So it's a current broadcast. So here we go. And let's hope this actually comes through. Let me pull OBS back up so I can see if it actually is. Nope, that's the wrong button. There we go. Okay. And I don't want to turn it up too loud because it is kind of annoying. That sounds like an airplane engine.
Yeah.
Okay, so and a lot of it is also, and I don't speak Russian at all, so I barely
Me
speak
neither.
English.
No clue.
So, um, if you know what they're saying, I've not looked up the translations, but a lot of people just assume that it may be code words for spies, kind of like how in Red Dawn they had Radio Free America, the chair is against the wall, the the beagle flies at midnight, things like that. Um, so they think that it could possibly be something related to spies, and with it going from the 70s, I wouldn't say that it's a hoax. I would definitely say that it definitely has, and there's more than just this one station. There's tons of other stations out that do this exact same thing. This one just happens to be the one of the most popular ones, and I wanted to pull it because of everything going on in the world. You know,
Yeah, I think I think it serves, like, I can see it serving a point back then, with everything going on. And then now, if there was anything weird to come through it, given everything going on, I don't know. I don't really know where I stand on this one, because I guess now, like, they've had memes and like other silly messages come through,
yeah,
according to some of the things I've seen. But I can also, not to be a conspiracy theorist, I could see a government throwing those things in there to throw people off.
yeah, yeah. Um,
So I think this is just almost like an Ouroboros kind of thing. We're just gonna go in circles forever
yeah,
with arguments.
yeah. Um, but it's to me, it kind of looks like one of those technologies that is going to get overlooked in the grand scheme of things, because whereas well, they're going to interfere through Facebook and they're going to post propaganda videos on Facebook, and turning red is not about a girl's period and coming of age. It's actually about becoming communist, shit like that. That's what people are going to think, and I've not heard that one. I literally just made that one up off
You
the top
probably,
of my head.
if somebody watches this, you just
I,
gave them the idea.
I'm sure it's out there, and I have already planted the seed, and that forest is gonna fucking grow now.
Yep.
So the, I think it's kind of one of those it may be one of those misdirection type things where
Yeah.
there, if you only watch the elephants, the ants will bite your feet. One of those type things. So
It's another thing that I think make it go unnoticed is most people just don't care about this old technology. Like, they don't think about these kind of things anymore. Like you said,
no,
they're going to focus on like Facebook. They're going to focus on the computer side of things that can be messed with.
yeah,
So like something like this could possibly go completely unnoticed if they are trying to send like messages through it and everything else.
yeah.
I mean, probably not on a government scale. Like, I'm sure they know these kind of things still,
Excuse me.
but
Yeah, it's highly possible that that's exactly what it is, because the forgotten technology is still technology. It still works. Just like whenever we switched over to the digital antenna signals, and we have all those analog signals, those signals are still there. There's still stuff that can pick it up. It's just not being used.
yeah.
Just like I actually, and I was talking to my wife last night. I was digging through some of my stuff. We're unloading my daughter's toys, and I found my old Casio television that I had with the antenna on it. And
Oh
I'm
man.
like, okay. So I got to looking up stuff, and I'm like, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my PlayStation 4, I'm going to run it through HDMI into AV, then run the AV into my VCR. The VCR has RF out. So instead of going RF out into the television, I'm going to go RF out into an amplifier and then into an antenna and then tune it, and I'm going to play Fallout on my little bitty TV. just
Science.
she's like, why? I was like, it's not a question of why, it's a question of if I can.
Yeah.
I want to see if I can. I said, so, and I'm a cheap ass, so I'm going to try to find an RF amplifier somewhere, like at Goodwill or, or something like that. But
Yeah, my wife's asked me why like I'll mod certain things when I've done it to like other other electronics that I have, and it's just more or less just see if I can.
yeah,
Sometimes it's just that
yeah.
it's not to play the games anymore. It's just to see if I can.
But I told her, I said, all you got to do is take that signal and you amplify it, and you're broadcasting to television stations. Because as long as you don't go more than 200 feet, I think you're okay. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't even get out of my basement if I did it. But if we threw it on an antenna and put it up, we could broadcast our own television channel, which would only be handy if, you know, the world had ended. If there is no FCC, there is no FCC guidelines and rules. So I told her, I said, what I'm going to do is
Yep.
we'll just, you know, start showing old movies as long as we got power, but no world. We'll just start showing old movies and broadcasting them over, and we'll just piece the world together one episode of King of the Hill at a time. So,
I forgot about King of the Hill actually.
oh my god, I love King of the Hill. It's probably my go-to show. I'll watch it over and over. And watching it as an adult, watching it as a kid, two totally different shows.
I miss having shows like that where like there's still something for the kids, something for the adults, something to grow up with, I guess.
Yeah. So, in addition to just radio signals that are being thrown out there, people absolutely love to hack stuff, just like me and Ryan were talking about. And I just gave a small example of how you can send out a broadcast radio station, broadcast signal, in a very, very, very small scale. Albeit, you go bigger than that, it becomes illegal. And I am not here for legal advice. You did not get this information from me. This is purely for educational purposes. So, the stuff really didn't start happening until about the 70s, when technology was getting more and more available to the public for people that wanted to do stuff like this. And the thing is, it was such a rare incident for them to have the technology to do it that a lot of times these, I'm going to call them pirates because that's exactly what it is, they never got caught. And one of the prime examples of never getting caught is a guy that hacked a radio station, and he was it was Vrillian of the Ashtar Galactic Command. So
Another thing is like not only did people not get caught, but nobody ever came forward with any of this, even after like the statute of limitations went up. Like, because then they could just come out and admit it as much as they want.
Yeah.
And they couldn't really be charged for it, but nobody ever did.
Yeah. Which actually we will talk about that in the main part of the episode, too, because that is possibly one of the reasons why nobody ever got busted doing that, the Max Headroom one. Spoilers. On November 27th, 1977, in southern England, ITN's Andrew Gardner he was delivering a story on an incident in Africa, because, you know, stuff happens in other countries other than America. The screen, it flickered and wobbled, and I'm sorry, I said this was a radio incident, and it wasn't. It was actually video, but anyway, the screen flickered and wobbled for a second, and then a distorted voice replaced the audio and claimed to be from an ancient alien civilization. So we will play that right now, if I can get to it, because I put it in the wrong spot. That's not it. All right, let me fast forward to it. Okay.
There are conditions.
Here we go.
These include stopping the execution of all captured prisoners of war, allowing Europe to take part in negotiations, being arrested. In Australia, Mr. Kerry Packer's cricketers are still being invited. Yes,
Sounds kind of derpy.
Yeah.
For many years, you have seen us as lights in the stars. We speak to you now to say the same as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth. We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid the
Apparently run-on
disasters
sentences or something in space.
and the beings on other worlds around you. This is in order that you may share in the great awakening as the planet passes into a new age of Aquarius. The new age will be a time of great peace and evolution for your race, but only if your rulers are made aware of the evil forces that can overshadow their judgments. Be still now, and listen, for your chance may not come again. All your weapons of evil must be removed. The time for conflict is now past, and the race of which you are a part may proceed to the higher stages of its evolution if you show yourselves worthy to do this. You have but a short time to learn to live together in peace.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to interject here. Do you think they just really love that Age of Aquarius song?
That's one of the things that like completely takes me out of it.
Yeah.
Is like, because I mean, I obviously wasn't alive back then, but it's my understanding that was like a big thing for everybody.
Yeah. I think this is just like some science fiction nerd that... I'm going to blame it on Scientology. It was L. Ron Hubbard that did this one. This sounds like some Scientology shit.
It does.
And goodwill. Small groups all over the planet are learning this, and exist to pass on the light of the dawning new age to you all. You are free to accept the protective teachings of those who learn to live
Many go as wide as
pass into the
then they run out.
spiritual evolution. Here now.
And they obviously have an English accent.
Yeah, it like you can't hear so much at the beginning, but as it goes on, it starts to that accent shines through a little bit more, and then it's like, oh, not only is this highly intelligent race only broadcasting to one country, they also happen to have that accent.
Yeah.
So it's I mean it's cool, it's still cool, but like there's a few things that kind of point to it not being real.
Anyway, he drones on and on about this and blah blah blah, and your inner divine self will protect you from this. You must learn to be.
It's vague, like most of the predictions. It's just like something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it like if anything bad happens, you're like, oh my god, they predicted it.
May you be blessed by the supreme love and truth of the cosmos.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
it would still be cool to see that because technology was like the floodgates were open then, right? Like, so like we were getting all sorts of new stuff all the time. So it would be kind of cool to be in that back then.
Yeah.
And maybe be naive enough to actually believe this.
Let me fix the one that I put in the wrong spot real quick.
Especially as a kid, like, and going to school and like before, like, you know, social media, we can all talk to each other, have all those rumors going around and everything.
Oh yeah, it would have been awesome to have witnessed. But so the person that did this hacking hoax was never found, and probably they saw it and they were too embarrassed to even come out because this is some nerdy shit. Even having the technology in 1977 to hack a broadcast as good as they did took a lot of technology, and that would have been the biggest hurdle. So my theory is that a lot of these people work in television broadcasting at the time, and because that's I'm not gonna lie, in the 70s technology was very nerd focused. You know,
yeah.
It was either nerds or military defense. That was it.
And it's also a little bit what we talked about earlier. It's like sometimes it was just tinkering for the sake of doing it. So I can see bored employees
yeah,
messing with stuff.
yeah, yeah. And I've seen firsthand how easy it is to fuck up a signal. We were in college. I took an elective class called mass media and communications, and the professor took us to the satellite room in our college. And the way that the satellite room worked is all the students that lived on campus got free cable, but it would be on one channel, and then that channel would all split. Anyway, it's how satellite worked. But he goes through on the master feed and switches the first channel, and the very first channel that he switches to is straight up hardcore porn. So for like 3 seconds across all of campus, every channel was showing hardcore porn, because the satellite that they had, it wasn't like DirecTV. It was like just satellite television. You didn't get to filter what you got and what you didn't get. You got everything.
Never mind. Go ahead.
So, and I'm sure there was probably somebody that would sit there late at night watching free porn. So,
well, what I was gonna say was this. So when I worked at the theater, there was a stretch of time where we actually had film, and some of the people that were working in projection, they weren't new. Like, they had been in this industry for a while, but even they would mess up and accidentally put the wrong reel on a movie. So we would have incidents like that where, like, it'd be like a PG movie, and then somebody just grabbed the wrong reel and put like a PG-13, like a little section of it into the movie. So, like, I can see how easy it is to accidentally do this, on top of it just like being waves getting crossed in general.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and if it's easy to do on accident, it's even easier to do on purpose.
Yep.
So, and there's a couple. I'm going to give a couple examples of some smaller incidents. These we will not have videos of, except for one of them, and mainly because they broadcast porn. People love exposing other people to other people fucking.
Yes.
So,
And the funny thing about that is going back to the movie theater thing, is that was something people just thought about doing. We had this one guy who wasn't a great employee. He got written up all the time, and he was always mad about getting written up. And he wasn't good enough at his job to actually pull off what he thought he could do, but he had the idea to take like a sex scene from one of the rated R movies we had at the time and splice it into a kids movie that we had at the time.
so he was
So
gonna
he,
PG-13 or R-rate Tyler Durden it.
it's funny, his name was actually Tyler, so that's really funny. And but he didn't understand the concept of like 24 frames per second. And the more frames you chop off of something, the more you kind of ruin that little bit of the movie. But so, like, even trying to explain to him like that concept and splicing in general, he didn't understand it. But after he got fired, he would tell everybody that he actually did this. But regardless, anyways, not only him, but other people had this idea to always put like adult stuff in like a kids movie or something. So like all this stuff about porn accidentally being broadcasted or whatever, I could totally see people just doing it.
Well, he wouldn't even have to do it in half the Disney movies because there's shit already in all those, supposedly.
That's fair.
All right, so some smaller incidents on TV. Like I said, we're going to hit on these real quick. We're not going to take long. So Game 1 of the 1988 World Series between the Dodgers and the Athletics was interrupted by porn. You are more than welcome to look these up. I'm not going to provide links to them because, again, it's porn.
For research purposes, I tried
Yes.
Googling a few of these, and they were hard. They were hard to find.
Yeah. So, now this one's not porn, but I'm not going to provide a link to it either because, honestly, this one is probably the most annoying one. This is Mayday. So, in 2007, there was an Australian show called Mayday. Had a 6-minute interruption of the line, "Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord," on loop. And everybody thought it was a divine intervention and all this crap. And then come to find out it was actually a recording of a contractor driving into a firefight in the Middle East. And he said it, but then it got looped and then played over the show Mayday. And nobody ever really figured out why or how. But if it was that one section loop, somebody intentionally did it. And there was debate on actually what they were saying, and people were like, no, they are not saying Jesus Christ help us all, Lord. They're saying Jesus Christ, King of the Nazarene. And anyway, you know how
Yeah.
they're going to hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
So in 2007, an interview with Tom Brokaw on March 12th got interrupted by, you guessed it, porn. So, like I said, people love showing other people porn. In 2007, the Disney Channel, Handy Manny got replaced with Handy Manny. It was a version of porn. I don't think it was a Handy Manny porn, but maybe
it is funny because we have so many like porn knockoffs of things that like you could just really slide it in there.
It was Hands On Mandy. So,
Indiana Bones.
And that one got done on the Disney Channel, and which it could be something very similar to what I was talking about. What happened in college? Someone just accidentally changed the channel and went, or it could have been somebody that was intentionally doing it. Now, some of them are actually kind of funny, and this one we'll talk about. And you could almost say that it would be guerrilla advertising for zombie shows, maybe.
It was odd timing.
It happened twice, and I'm going to show a clip of the first one because it's actually the exact same on the second one. One of them was a news broadcast got interrupted with an emergency alert system. So if the emergency alert scares you, just go ahead and skip ahead because I know some people are bugged out by that. So skip that video. Here we go.
Civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the messages on screen that will be updated as information becomes available. Do not attempt to approach or apprehend these bodies as they are considered extremely dangerous.
All right, so it happened a couple of times. Someone that obviously was pranking because we've not had zombies pop up, unfortunately. But in order to do that way, it would have had to have been, from my opinion, it would have had to have been within. It was an inside job.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that the national broadcast system is a little bit more difficult to hack. I would want to assume that with all the
Who knows?
all the chaos that could be caused with the national broadcast system. Just like whenever Hawaii accidentally got ballistic missiles, And here in Missouri, we recently got the Joker kidnapped somebody in Gotham City. I didn't know
Really?
there was. Yeah, we got it was an emergency broadcast that came over all the cell phones, and it was someone got kidnapped by the Joker in Gotham City, Missouri.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and then come to
You
find
think-
out, they were like,
Uh-huh.
"No, this was just a test. It wasn't supposed to go out."
Seeing how crazy Florida is, I'm actually surprised that hasn't happened down here in any way, shape, or form.
And then September 7th in 2012, Lilo and Stitch got interrupted by porn. And then the granddaddy of them all is
Flipping the narrative.
in September 6th, 1987, porn got interrupted by church. So the Playboy channel had a broadcast come across the station that said, Thus saith the Lord thy God, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. So they were obviously hacking in protest to the Playboy channel showing porn. So it's just kind of, it goes both ways. Interrupt church with porn, interrupt porn with church.
It's also because back then that was pretty much like what like 70s to like pretty much the end of actually well into the 90s, I guess. The whole subliminal messages. If you play a record backwards, you can hear this, or if you play a CD backwards or whatever. Like I'm sure all this really fueled a lot of that stuff.
Oh, there was a game. I don't remember what it was. It was on PC back in the 90s that had subliminal I can't talk messages put into it in the music. And they were all like really positive messages, and this game was supposed to make you feel good. And I want to say it was Leonard Nimoy that did the voices that they put in.
Is it Endorphin?
It may be. Yes. Yeah, it may be that.
Yeah,
so,
it's uses positive affirmations on a soundtrack.
Yeah. So.
Huh. Yeah, I've heard of that one. Okay.
And then there's some smaller incidents with radio, and it's not necessarily pirate radio or it's anything malicious. Sometimes it's just natural occurrences that cause, because radio and the universe is weird sometimes. Stuff aligns just perfect.
Yep.
They in 2020, scientists discovered what they thought was a radio signal coming from Proxima Centauri, and they were hoping that it was official contact with aliens, and it was an actual radio signal that was coming through. And then come to find out it was just interference. So something out there was causing radio interference. Stars will cause radio interference, solar waves, electromagnetic storms. There's all kinds of shit in outer space that we don't know about that'll probably be picked up by a little bitty antenna here on Earth.
But see, that's what fuels the conspiracies, right? It's like we have no possible way of knowing, so it's like dun dun dun.
Right, absolutely. And then off the coast of Ireland, these people actually built what was called Rim Island, or if you want to call it REM Island. So it was just this big island that had mandolins and orange crushes, and that's a reference to the REM band. I'll be here all week.
Somebody showing their age.
Yeah. No, anyway, it was used for pirate radio, and I'm guessing they built it out there in the ocean so they thought that they would be in international waters and be safe. But the Irish government dismantled it in 2006, and you can still visit the Rim Island, and it's in Amsterdam, and it's a restaurant now. So I don't know what kind of I would hope that they would have pirate dishes there since of its history. But
this one's so weird though, because they turned that little island into a restaurant apparently at some point.
Yeah, and moved it.
Yeah, completely moved it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that had to have been an expensive ass purchase too. But
they probably made it up with the food price.
Yeah.
The food cost.
Oh God.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite places to go for lunch is this local mom and pop owned chicken wing place,
Mm-hmm.
and he has really really good flavored wings. He probably has about 30 different flavors of chicken wings. And
I would kill my own mother for a lifetime supply of chicken wings.
He has these big honking wings that look almost like legs. And his whole thing is fresh, never frozen, and everything's prepared fresh. So you do have to wait a little bit. But we were there the other day, and his suppliers were like, nope, you can't get any chicken. And he's like, how the fuck am I supposed to run a chicken place with no chicken?
Yep. Man, I don't know how the prices are for you guys up there, but here in Florida, wings are pretty much the price of like a prime steak now.
Yeah. We can't
yeah,
get lunch for less than $15.
However, we did have this place open up in town that is wings and tacos.
Wow.
Yes, my heart about stopped when I saw that on the menu.
Yeah. So now that we're, man, I haven't even had breakfast yet. So,
Yeah, we got to stop this because I haven't either.
yeah, it's early on a Sunday morning here, and so the main episode, the main focus of this is something I came across quite a few years ago that I just absolutely love this because it's so ludicrous, I guess we're gonna say, and it's just off the wall, batshit crazy. And
It really is.
I'm sure you guys remember Max Headroom. If not, look up Max Headroom. And he was a spokesperson for Pepsi, and I think he did MTV and stuff. And he was supposed to be like the world's first virtual reality AI disc jockey, music man. And
A computer MTV host.
all he really reminded me of was a suburban dad.
Huh.
But it was, at the time, it was state of the art. You know, you look back at it now, you're like, holy shit, that was hokey. But anyway, so now I'm going to start with this. There's a guy on YouTube named Wang. He does an episode on this, and he goes all the way down the Reddit thread. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this, and I understand that's kind of contrary, but he does such an excellent job explaining it. I'm just going to kind of hit the high points here, and we're going to go over it, watch the video, and we're going to talk about it.
But if anybody wants to look this up on their own, honestly, I would just put Reddit at the end of your Google because all these things we talked about are better on Reddit.
Yeah.
Like people just, then you don't have to worry about like ads or anything either. It's just like people listing all these weird things about all these weird things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, we're trying to just kind of give you the information and let you do with it what you will. I feel that that's better than actually just giving you every single thing about something. Let you look your own stuff up. We're just going to kind of give you the information. We're going to, like I said earlier, we're going to plant the seed in your head and let it grow into a field of weeds. In November 22nd, 1987, there was an episode of Doctor Who. So, a lot of people don't know, Doctor Who has been around for a long time. Longer than this. When this was on, it was out for a long time.
Yeah, it's
So, it was interrupted by a man in a Max Headroom mask against a background, and he apparently had an agenda against WGN, which is a broadcasting station out of Chicago. Alright, so there's a lot of claims on who this guy was. However, this theory, everything has been theory. It has never been proven concretely who did this. So we're only going to focus on his second transmission, not the first one, because the first one was only 30 seconds of images and no sounds. So we're going to start. We'll dim the lights, and at 11:15 p.m. WWTW was showing Doctor Who. Then the video cut out, and the Max Headroom hacker was back. And he's like, that does it. He's a freaking nerd. And then it starts. And we're going to go ahead and just play the video and let you watch all minute and 50 seconds of it, because it is fucking crazy. There we go. And I'm even put this shit on full screen.
That is the only way to learn.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
Extend some dry clothing.
Because he's a freaking nerd. I think I'm better than Chuck's worst even. Working with oh, Jesus. That's the way.
Now, this is the theme song to an old cartoon called Clutch Cargo.
I still see the X. Oh, my files. Oh, I just made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds. My brother is wearing the other one. But it's dirty. What you got footprints on it? Oh, coming to
You know,
And
this kind of
we're
shit's up
back.
my alley, though, man. I
Yeah.
love this weird stuff.
I know, it's so damn crazy. So, let me get back to my Google Doc here.
But yeah, that guy was wearing a Max Headroom mask. If you want to actually see how weird Max Headroom itself is, you should definitely look that up.
Yeah. The Max Headroom itself is kind of weird, and he glitches out, and it's not as unsettling as that. So, all right. So most of the people that saw this laughed, except the FCC, and they were pissed. So the FCC agents began dissecting the video and trying to find the culprit, and they could only assume that it was an inside job, since due to the technology of the time, it had to have been. And it had to have been pre-recorded because of the costume change right there, where it goes from him talking to him leaned over getting his ass smacked with a fly swatter by a woman in a maid outfit. Because, I don't know about you, but I can't take my pants down that fast. And turn. Split second. Even when I gotta poop really, really bad. So all the leads all turned up dry. And years later, a few names started to float around. So, some people thought that it was a man named Eric Fournier. And he was the creator of Shay St. John.
I had never heard of this until this episode, and I hate what you're about to say.
Okay. The videos for Shay St. John, I will not show them because I do not want to watch them.
And I hate you for this. They sound so entertaining.
They creep me. You know what? Let's just go ahead and pull them up.
No, you don't have to. No. If it freaks you out, we don't have to do it.
We'll do it. We'll watch them. Just because this is what we do.
Just give me 5 seconds. Just give me 5 seconds of one.
Okay. Anyway, these things freak me the fuck out. I don't like them. They give me the willies. I don't like Herbie Hancock's rocket video. Okay, that thing bothers me, and I have nightmares to this day about it. It just fucking terrifies me. That goddamn duck that's on there, no. And the legs, well, no. So
you don't have to show the other one if you don't want to. You don't have to.
Well, Herbie Hancock will get us a copyright violation. So,
but I feel like yeah, that one probably. Yeah. But I feel like we've built this up. Now you got to show it. At least the Shay one, that is. I can't wait. So excited.
All right, let me. Okay, hang on here. Give me just a second.
It's hard to find something effectively creepy like this because it's a dime a dozen on YouTube now. So it's like everybody. It's most of the stuff's just overplayed at this point.
Okay, do we?
But sometimes you get that one that still hits home.
All right, you can do stump water salad. No, I think that one's been messed with. Okay, let's go back here. Hang on. Oh, the hand thing. Okay. That's okay. All right. Fuck.
And I thank you for introducing me to this because, like I said, I had no clue what this was until this episode.
All right. Let's pull this one up. Paste it. Enter. Ah.
It's just the thumbnail alone. I love it.
All right. God, I hate you.
Are you still doing that hand thing? I heard you're doing the hand thing today. God, what is that? Shay, what is it? Hood. You've been doing this for 24/7. So you've been doing the hand thing all day? Heard you were. Jordan told me you had been doing it on a sleeping bag earlier. Out.
And this isn't even the worst one.
Shay, I can't stop doing the thing. What is it? God, I heard you're doing the hand thing. Shay, my hands are hurting, Shay. What is that? God, what is it?
The early days of the internet.
Oh God.
God, Shay, have you been doing this for 24 hours in a row?
God, I'm getting so tense in my
Shay, I can't stop
shoulders.
doing the thing. What is it?
You're gonna wake up and something's gonna be patting your belly like that.
Shay? Are you still doing that hand thing? Shay?
All right.
No, we're
Do you-
not. We're not starting it over.
I heard you're doing the hand thing today.
Why
you
won't
know-
it stop?
Do you know what the backstory for that character apparently, supposedly is?
Shay, what is it?
It won't stop.
Oh, it's stopped on my end. My end.
You've been doing this for 24/7.
But apparently that character is a supermodel who was disfigured in a car accident, and she rebuilt her body with a collection of mannequin parts.
Oh.
You've been doing this for 24/7.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's not even the worst one. That one's up there. It's weird, but
God, what is that?
they get weirder.
Shay, what is it?
Did you get it to stop?
I muted it. It's fucking cursed. It won't stop on my end, so it's just gonna keep going.
It's the Russians. You gave them the ammo. It's like, oh, we're gonna get them.
Yeah.
We revealed our secrets earlier.
Yeah. Okay. Let's There we go. That's so much better. All right. So, anyway, that's Shay St. John. It's, Jesus Christ. Anyway, supposedly that the Max Headroom video was around his type of humor, but a lot of people thought that it was him, but they couldn't ask him because by the time his name popped up, the creator of that unfortunately had passed away. And apparently at the time, he wasn't even in Chicago. And they've narrowed it down to this had to have happened in Chicago. Excuse me. And so, I'm getting choked up from that. She's fucking behind me, isn't she? And so, anyway, there is a post on Reddit called J and K, and it's a whole post about these guys that were in the early hacking and freaking scene in 1985 to 1993. There's a very, very long Reddit post on the duo, and we'll go over some. I'm not going to go over some parts of it, but as of 10/11/15, they were eliminated as suspects due to Reddit sleuths. And honestly, if you want to get to the bottom of anything, Reddit is the place to go and the place not to go.
I feel like they've done more for the world than Anon has.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're always talking about what they're going to do, and just nothing ever happens. But Reddit,
Yeah.
they finish what they start.
But they were in the early hacking and freaking scenes, and that's hacking on computers, and freaking usually is reserved for
Like
airwaves
TVs and
and
stuff, right?
TVs
Yeah,
and
airwaves. That's it.
phones.
Yeah.
And when I was, let's see, I graduated high school in 2000, so my youth, I was right there at the cusp, at the birth of the internet for public domain. So I used to download all the what I thought were hacking books, you know, and I never thought I was a hacker, but I knew just enough to get my ass in trouble. Let's put it that way. I figured out how to get onto any computer in the classroom or in the school and see what they were doing, and then move their mouse around, put a couple little non-bad viruses, just humorous viruses on computers.
But I'm sure you looked like a hero. I'm sure you were a hero at school.
Oh,
though,
yeah.
Like the kids.
Yeah.
The other kids.
But the best thing I ever did was, back in the day before cell phones, we had payphones. And I know some people listen to this like, what the fuck is a payphone? Anyway, it was
You had to walk uphill and downhill.
you had to put money in it, and then you could make a call. However, when you would listen to the receiver and you put a quarter in, there was the okay. So there's the hard way and the easy way to replicate this. I did the hard way first, and then a movie came out and told me about the easy way, and I never thought about it. So the hard way was Radio Shack, God rest its soul, used to sell what were called phone dialers. And I'm not 100% sure of the purpose of it, but it was a dialer that had a speaker on it. And you could take your phone, set it on top of it, and dial the numbers, and it would dial. I guess it was in case the dialer was broke on your phone, or you had to have a touch tone.
I think I've seen one of those before.
You had to have a touch tone phone for a rotary phone. Anyway, you could take it apart, and there was a crystal in it that you could change. And I had no soldering iron or soldering skills whatsoever, so I literally used a coat hanger and a lighter. So I'm down here almost like I'm doing a backroom abortion on this thing. With a coat hanger and a lighter, I could have possibly been freebasing cocaine. And desoldered it.
Inhaling some interesting fumes that probably shouldn't be in your body.
Put that crystal in, and then I didn't know anything about soldering, so I super glued it back together. All right. According to this hacker's Bible thing that I found on the internet. Anyway, put that in. The thing ran on batteries too, which made it portable. So I'd keep it in my backpack. Well, I'd pull it out, dial the number, and then it asked me to input a certain amount of money, put the receiver next to the speaker, hit the 5 button a couple times, and it would mimic the tone of inserting a quarter. And I had free phone calls forever.
You know, I'm starting to imagine you as a kid with the scooter with the antenna for the CB radio and then all this. I'm picturing the kid from Goonies, Data.
I was about to say, if you call me Data.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, did you have a trench coat too?
No.
All right.
I had a long military coat.
Okay, as long as it's a long coat, that
It
works.
was a military parka, yeah. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, you were pretty much a Data.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was.
Did you try to make like a grapple gun?
No. That was the kid that dressed up like the ninja that lived across the street from me.
Ah.
He full head-to-toe ninja outfit with a grapple hook and threw it on top of his house, climbed up on top of his house with the grapple hook.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but then the movie Hackers came out, and then they said you could just record it on a micro cassette recorder and do the exact same thing. And I'm like, holy fuck. So you can. And it would legitimately work. I did try it. But now, oh my God, I don't even remember the last time I even saw an actual payphone.
We went to New York for our honeymoon, and there were a couple, but there definitely wasn't a lot though.
Yeah. I think I saw one down in Arkansas, and I was gonna take a picture of it, but there was a hobo next to it, so I passed. So anyway, um, this is the suspicion basically boils down to Jay being odd. Back to the JK post, it boiled down to the him being odd. And his sense of humor was similar to this, and you could almost say he was slightly on the spectrum, just more. I'm going to say more ADHD than Asperger's autism, but he was a little different in his way of thinking. But nobody really caught the person that did this ever. Like I said, read the J and K post. It does a very, very good job. It's very, very long. Probably the length of time it takes to read the post will be longer than the length of this whole podcast.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
It really is. Like it, you don't think it's going to be, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, Chuck Swirsky stole one of the engineers' lunch. And that engineer was just pissed at him. And he had corrugated tin and a max headroom mask and a videotape recorder. So, but it's just...
That'd be a great way to get somebody back, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly thought if I ever did a video on this to get a piece of tin and put it in the background and just make it spin. But
I'm sure your wife will be more than willing to help out. So you can just stand there for like the whole hour.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll just get my kid to do it. Just...
Oh yeah, I forgot you have kids.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah. She would do it. She's, I don't know. My daughter likes the weird stuff like that.
Maybe she would like Shay St. John.
No, I don't think that she would. However, I do want to. My daughter is now doing the intro music for the episodes. So,
cool.
I have a music maker program, and she's going to throw together a little short 10-second beat. And on the second episode is the first one that she's going to do the intro music for, because we don't have official intro music. So if she makes it, then we got it. Yeah. So, and then by the time this episode comes out, we will have full-fledged Facebook page, and this will be available on our YouTube page. I still got to set all that stuff up, and bear with us because we're going to try to get stuff out in a semi-orderly manner, but Ryan and I are both adults with jobs and families, and I'm not going to be like...
I don't like it.
I'm not going to be like these people that record 4 podcast episodes a week. Right now, we're hitting one every 2 weeks. So on our recording schedule,
we're consistent. In some way.
And we got to have time to edit and all that stuff. And my wife keeps wanting to have a yard sale, and it just takes up so much time. We've been working on this damn yard sale for 2 weeks now. My kid's got so many toys. Not even funny. She's gotten rid of most of them on her choice. So,
I don't think we've ever talked about this. Is your daughter named after Metroid?
Yes.
Yes, okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, Meridia.
As long as we've been in groups, different Facebook groups together, I don't know if we've ever talked about it, and I definitely have never asked, but it's the coolest name ever.
Yeah. We, Meridia, and we pronounce her middle name Aran. A-R-A-N. So, I tried to straight up name her Samus Aran, but my wife wasn't going for it.
At least she still got like a unique name out of it.
Yeah, we did. We settled on that. And if we had a boy, we had settled on Ronan for a boy. But I was leaning towards Uther from Warcraft.
Like a Viking.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Uther or Lothar.
Listen, at least you're not picking like basic names like
Yeah.
like Ryan Williams.
Yeah. Well, see, my wife has a philosophy. My wife's name is Nikita. So she has a philosophy that if you have a unique name, people will remember you. Thus, they will remember you and you will be good. That's her philosophy on it.
Yeah.
So, but she gets asked all the time, "Are you Russian?" No, I'm not Russian. She's like, I was named after an Elton John song.
Actually, I never even thought to pair that with Russia. What?
Yeah.
Man, we're doing a lot of Russia talk today.
Yeah, and yeah, and her middle name is actually from another song too. It's a Mr. Mister song called Kyrie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. Her dad was into that stuff whenever she was born. Good old mid-'80s. And me, my dad wanted the same initials but not the same name. He didn't want me to be a junior. So
That was how my dad and my brother are. My dad didn't want a junior, but he wanted him to have his name. So my brother has the middle name. My dad doesn't. So that negates the whole junior thing.
Yep. So, well, at least it's not like George Foreman's family, you know. Everybody's named George.
Really?
Yeah. All George Foreman's kids. Here, hang on. Let me look it up real quick. This is our outro, so random shit. All right, so let me see. That's a Wikipedia page. Okay, Foreman has 12 children, 5 sons and 7 daughters. His 5 sons are George Jr., George 3, George 4, George 5, George 6. And one of them's called Monk, Big Wheel, Red, Little Joey.
How have I gone this long
And then,
without knowing that?
Then his daughters are Natalia, Leola, Frida, Michi, Georgetta, Isabella, and Courtney.
Michi's interesting.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to call her my other mom. I joke and say I have 4 moms, but it's the neighbors from where I grew up. Her name was Michi. And then I actually worked with a guy named Demetrius, and he went by Michi. So.
Oh.
Yep.
All right. So more common than I thought.
Yep. But those are the only 2 people I know named Michi. So. So anyway, that does it for this episode of Playing with Myself Scrambled Cable. I'm clicking random things on here. So, like I said, this was our first video episode. So we will see how it goes. If there's any errors or problems or anything, or fucking say Shane John's still playing on my computer when I go to try to edit shit and I can't shut it off, I'm gonna drive to Florida and steal Ryan's computer and replace his with mine.
I'm gonna send you a mask.
Oh man, it's just I could 3D print one of those and cosplay as it, and people would be like, "What the fuck?" Get some wooden spoons, those little hands, you know, and
it's so far removed from the original source that if you showed up at a convention, you would just look like your own unique character and probably just become an internet sensation.
Yeah. Look at this guy dressed up as this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They just had an anime fest in the town I went to college in. And we were going to go, but we were going to do my dad's birthday, but my mom is sick. So we ended up not buying tickets, and they actually sold out, which this area of the country is not known for conventions.
I was about to say that. I mean, if it's sold out, that's pretty good though.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, we have a very small game convention here in town, and it's. I'm not gonna lie. I jokingly called it Depressicon the first year because it was pretty poor the very first year. But in retrospect, I shouldn't have, because the second year we went, it was actually really good. They had a couple of people from The Walking Dead, just side actors, none of the big names, and I really felt bad for one of the guys. He played one of the saviors. I don't know which one, but it was a big guy, and it was probably an unnamed savior. And I was talking to one of the comic book artists that was next to him, and this girl comes up and she goes, "Oh, you're on The Walking Dead. Who are you?" And he said, "Oh, I was the savior that got killed in episode whatever." She goes, "Oh, so your character didn't even have a name?" He goes, "No." She goes, "Oh, well, then I don't want to waste my time," and walks off.
Jesus.
And I'm like...
yeah, I'd feel bad for him.
And he was like, "Well, fuck you." And I was like, man, that sucks. But, because, I mean, everybody starts out somewhere, so.
Yeah, he's probably bummed himself that was his character.
Yeah.
Some no-name character. We shouldn't make the most of it. This one has to hit him in the nuts.
But you know what? What was her character in The Walking Dead?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's like, I went to Mo GameCon one year, and there was the guy that won the 1994 college Nintendo tournament, and he was there. I can't tell you what his name was because I don't remember, but
I'm aware of this situation, but I don't remember his name either.
Yeah, he was a nice guy, but he had his own booth set up.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew who he was. Nobody was getting his cards. Nobody was getting his autograph. I saw that, and I was like, and I go up to him. I was like, "Oh, hey, you're the..." And then read the name off. I was like, "That won the 94 World Championship." He goes, "Yeah, I am." I was like, "Hey, can I get a card and an autograph from you?" I was like, "That's awesome. I'm so glad to meet you."
I've kind of done that at conventions where, like, if I look at like a booth and they're not getting a lot of action, like, I'll go over there and like take something. But that's backfired on me a few times. Gotten some people I just didn't. We should not have talked to because they're just super weird. And I was like, okay, I get it now. Yeah. I can understand why people are staying away.
And yeah, and he was an odd duck. He was a nice guy, but he was overshadowed by, I mean, his booth was literally 10 feet away from the whole Metal Jesus Rocks group. So they were all there, and everybody knows who they are, YouTube-wise. And honestly, the only reason why I know who they are is because quasi-friends with John Riggs. So, which I thought about asking him. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just about to say I bought Riggs as the Yeah Beavis.
Oh, is it pretty good?
It's for what it is. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's really cool, like the whole history behind it and everything. So I'm glad to support him. But it's fun. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a sequel to a lost game that never existed.
Yeah, which actually, they could do a whole episode about that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. Lost games.
I'm gonna write that down. Gotta write that one down.
Yeah, and I honestly thought about asking John whenever he was in his downtime if he wanted to join us, if he would bow to the plebs.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can we could do that whole episode about like hoax games or whatever, and then have him in on that one.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and then
I was actually just talking to him a couple weeks ago because I was jealous of your black cartridge Sweet Home.
Yeah,
and so I was trying to get one through him, but unfortunately we couldn't make it work with the guy who actually has the cartridge itself or something of the sort. But yeah, it didn't work out.
But no, John's a good guy. He's a good guy, and I'm glad his YouTube stuff is taking off and doing just as well. Because I remember the first time I got paired up with him in a Secret Santa, I was like,
Mhm.
I don't know who this is, and I looked him up, and I was like, oh shit. What am I gonna get this guy? He's a YouTuber.
Yep. Yeah, I had no clue who he was, and I think I did like a bunch of trades with him, and it had to at least be a year or so before I learned like he actually had like a whole YouTube following and all this other stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And that's actually how we met, was through a trade. We traded you Grand Theft Auto 5 for Evolve,
Yep.
which I never fucking played.
That it had potential.
Yeah. I don't know. Are the servers for that even up still?
I don't think so. I like those one versus the many kind of games. Like one of my favorite gaming memories is actually recent. It was when the Friday the 13th game came out.
Mhm.
Because when that game first came out and nobody knew how to play it, there was so much camaraderie and like trying to figure out how things worked. And before they like started nerfing things and taking out features, like Jason used to be able to talk, so you couldn't see him on the map. So when you close the door, like that person could be trying to talk you into letting them into the house, but it's Jason and you have no way of knowing. So like it was like super fun, but then they took away the ability for Jason to talk.
Yeah.
And then they just started taking away things, and then like yeah, whatever. But anyways, but like I love those games like Evolve, or maybe not Evolve itself, I guess, but like the whole like one versus like 4 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah. Have you seen the previews for the Ghostbusters game?
I have.
Yeah.
And going back a little bit to what I just said about Friday the 13th about nerfing things and then ultimately kind of breaking the game, that company is just known for that. They did it with Predator too.
Yeah.
Where it's like they have a good concept, they have something there, and then they just either listen to the community too much or they're just not that great at what they do, I guess. I don't really know, but they ultimately end up ruining and abandoning the games. So that kind of sucks, but I do have faith in it though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
They're doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre one.
Oh, are they?
As well.
Are they?
Yep.
See, I think I have Dead by Daylight on both platforms through bundles and stuff like that, but I have never touched it.
I'm going to tell you right now, I do not like that game, but I have bought every piece of DLC because I'm a stupid horror fanatic, and I've given that game so many chances. It's growing on me, and I think it's just because I'm tricking myself at this point into liking it.
Yeah.
But the gameplay loop just frustrates me. And then like all this, that's a whole different topic. But anyways, for some reason I hate that game and I keep spending money on it. And
Yeah.
I don't know why.
So,
I have a problem.
we all do. We all do. Well, I don't know how many times I've probably bought that game in different Humble bundles. And so,
Yeah, they were pimping that thing out in Humble Bundle for
yeah.
quite a while.
To me, those games are better with a whole group of people that you know and that you're communicating with. One of my best online game is we had probably, I'm going to say around 15 people playing Dino D-Day, and we were live streaming it. And because you could buy it for $1.99, and then we had all these random people come in and start watching the stream, and then they started playing with us because they would just go buy the game, install it, and start playing. And then one guy sends me a message laughing hysterically because I killed him as a velociraptor with a goat. I threw a goat at him and killed him.
Nice.
So
I do stand corrected. The Ghostbusters game is made by Ilphonic, but them and Gunn, who's doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th, they did those games together. So kind of like the same thing, I guess. But
yeah,
same company.
Kind of like whenever you see a game and you're like, oh my god, this game looks so good, and then it's by a perfect world, and you're like, oh.
You know what? Actually, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't even think you knew about it until I said it. But the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game they're making.
Yeah.
One thing that's driving me nuts right out the gate is it's so clean looking. Like everything's just like it's supposed to be like dirty, sweaty Texas, right?
Yeah.
And like nothing's dirty. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
It's just like a chainsaw sitting on a wooden table with like nothing. I don't know, like the
Ho-
details just not there yet. But you
Hopefully
know,
they'll
it's
add
still-
the dirt and dust and grime
Yeah.
and stuff in it. Yeah, I could definitely see where that would.
because that's what that's one of those elements that makes the original movie. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that, but cool.
You know, speaking of, I need to get my wife to watch the original Texas Chainsaw. Because
If she doesn't appreciate it, I'm not gonna say divorce her, but maybe.
she's not a horror person, but I mean she was all. I don't see why everybody likes these Friday the 13th movies. They're stupid and predictable.
That's why people like them.
It's like that's why people like them.
You know, what completely, actually, I don't know how to. I'm just gonna move on. Thinking of those movies as campfire tales,
Yeah.
fixes the continuity.
One horror movie that I actually really like that is like that is Trick or Treat.
Yes,
Um,
I'm actually wearing. I figured since you weren't gonna see my pants, I didn't really have to dress up the bottom half, but I'm wearing Trick or Treat sweatpants right now.
I have on flannel pajama
Yep.
pants.
See if I can show you. I guess. No. Yeah.
Wow.
So like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that movie, I'm going to get my wife to watch that movie too. I thought that was a very good compilation. Apparently, isn't the Werewolves Within movie supposed to be like that too? Kinda.
I started watching that, but it was another one of those like long weeks at work, and I was just so tired I didn't finish it. But
Yeah.
I need to get back to that actually.
So, all right. Well, that does it for this Virgin video episode of. I need to get an animated background and put up that we can use, instead of just having. I'm sitting here trying to click on this with OBS and I'm using the wrong mouse pointer.
You know what would be cool? You remember Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah.
You know how the camera starts on the outside and it goes through the gate and then through it snakes through the house?
Yep.
We can have that, but it like starts outside of a house and then snakes in through the house and then it gets like a bedroom door, and then like the person who looks like they're playing with themselves or just sitting in front of a TV just turns around and goes in shocked, and then like our logo pops up on the TV in front of them.
That's what I want. I want that. But
That might be beyond our capabilities, but
I bought the whole Tales from the Crypt series on DVD at a yard sale for $10.
man, I got it for Christmas, thankfully, but it's up there in price now.
Yeah.
But I remember Best Buy, man, they would have those things in like the clearance bin all the time, and I don't know why I didn't buy them then, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
now now though.
We let my daughter start watching it. We started with the first episode. And she's like, because she's all, I want to watch something scary. I want to watch something scary. I was like, well, let's do Tales from the Crypt because they're not like scary. But see, like, I want to get my wife to watch Creep Show.
I was just about to say you should get her to watch because there's a new Creep Show TV show out too.
Yeah. And see, she likes Twilight Zone and stuff like that. And do you remember the Hitchhiker series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That intro used to scare the shit out of me too, for some reason.
Oh, man, what is the there's like a Twilight Zone knockoff. I think it had Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Outer Limits was afterwards.
Oh yeah, Thriller with Boris Karloff. That one's pretty good too.
Yeah. See, she'd love that. We got. Have you ever seen the Mill Creek movie sets? It's like 50 classic horror movies.
Yep.
And it's like 10 DVDs with 5 movies each on them. We bought every one of those. The sci-fi, the action, the back before Netflix, you know.
Yeah.
And I bought her the Universal Monster Movies collection on Blu-ray. Found it on sale.
Nice.
And she loves those old black and white movies and stuff like that. Like the Brain That Wouldn't Die and
Yep.
Plan
The
9,
cheesier the better.
Plan 9 from Outer Space, the Ed Wood stuff.
Uh-huh.
So. All right, so once again, I'm going to say that this does it. This actually does it. This does it this time.
Good thing for editing.
Yeah. So this is it. This is the end of the 3rd episode. Next episode is, I believe, it's just going to be a regular episode on Metroid. And then I don't have anything wrote after that, so I need to write up some more episodes. And I
I've been
have
trying to brainstorm a Castlevania one.
yeah, I have tasked Ryan with doing an episode on Castlevania, maybe even a 2-part episode on Castlevania. We can focus on the early years and then the later years.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how that goes. So you guys have a good one. I'm Grant,
And I'm Ryan.
and we will see you next time.